Why did 23 minutes of not being needed feel so good and make me feel so guilty? I used the iPad as a babysitter today. There, I've said it. I didn't carefully select something educational. I didn't sit beside my son asking thoughtful questions about what he was learning. I handed in the iPad because I needed him to stop needing me. Just for a bit. 23 minutes later, I had achieved something extraordinary. Nobody had said, "Dad?" Not once. It was beautiful. I drank tea while it was hot. I sat down without immediately being asked to stand up again. For 23 glorious minutes, I belonged entirely to myself. And then came the guilt. Should he be watching this? Has he been on it too long? Should we be outside? Should I be playing with him? Am I becoming one of those fathers who hands his child a screen instead of actually parenting him? So much for my break. Now I was just sitting quietly worrying about how I was sitting quietly. And that's when something occurred to me. Maybe I wasn't only worried about how much my son wanted the iPad. Maybe I was worried about how much I needed him to want it. That bothered me, because I love being his dad. I love that he comes looking for me. I love being the person who can fix things, open things, reach things, find things that apparently become invisible the moment a child starts looking for them. Being needed is woven into fatherhood. And somewhere along the way, I think I started confusing two ideas. They need me, and I am doing this properly. Which meant the reverse became surprisingly uncomfortable. I need them not to need me right now. That didn't feel like exhaustion. It felt like failure. I don't think anyone ever taught me that. Nobody sat me down when my children were born and said, "A good father must be permanently available or he's a terrible person." But ideas don't always need to be spoken to become rules. Sometimes you just live them long enough. So I started wondering, when did needing a break become something I had to defend? Why couldn't I simply be tired? Why did I need to prove that the iPad was educational, or temporary, or deserved? Why couldn't I say, I adore my children, and right now, I don't want anybody touching me? Both things can be true, apparently. Later that evening, the kids finally went to bed. My wife sat beside me on the couch. At last. No one needed water. Nobody had remembered something extremely important 5 minutes after bedtime. Nobody was asking where something was while standing directly beside it. It was just us. And I picked up my phone. She picked up hers. 2 adults, 1 sofa, 4 thumbs. Very romantic. I scrolled. She scrolled. At one point, I nearly said, "Are you going to be on your phone all night?" Then I looked down. I was holding mine. So I decided against that particular speech. Personal growth. But now I couldn't stop noticing it. All afternoon, I'd felt guilty because I'd used a screen to get 23 minutes away from being needed. And the moment my wife and I finally had nobody needing us, we both disappeared into screens. Nobody decided to ignore anybody. That's important. I didn't think I'd rather look at strangers on the internet than my wife. She didn't reject me. We weren't fighting. We weren't even unhappy. We were tired. And the phone was easy. It didn't need me to be interesting. It didn't need an answer. It didn't need emotional intelligence. It didn't need me to notice anything. It didn't even need me to stay awake. I could simply disappear into it. And suddenly I wondered if I'd been asking the wrong question about our screens. Maybe the question wasn't, why are we choosing our phones instead of each other? Because I'm not sure we were choosing at all. Maybe the question was, What does the phone give two exhausted people that they've stopped knowing how to ask each other for? That question felt different, because perhaps the screen wasn't only stealing something from us, perhaps it was quietly providing something too. And if I wanted to understand what was happening between us, I needed to understand what that something was. So I watched myself. Not scientifically. I didn't create a spreadsheet. My wife would probably leave me if I produced a marital screen time dashboard. I just noticed. When did I reach for the phone? Often when I was tired. Sometimes when I didn't want another decision. Sometimes after a day when everyone had wanted something from me. And sometimes when there was a tiny silence between my wife and me. Not a bad silence, just that moment where one of us could say something, or neither of us could. The phone removed the decision. There was always something there. News, sport, a message. A video of somebody building a swimming pool in the jungle for reasons I still don't understand. Anything. And I started to see why it was so attractive. The phone offered company without demand. That sentence stayed with me, because the parenting years contain so much demand. You become very good at being useful. Who is doing pickup? Did you pay that? Where are the wipes? Have you replied to school? What's for dinner? Did you book the appointment? Your relationship becomes extraordinarily efficient. My wife and I are a good team. We laugh. We manage things. We rescue each other. We remember approximately 70% of what we're supposed to remember. But being a good team isn't exactly the same thing as feeling close. And maybe that's part of what had happened. We'd spent years becoming useful to everybody, including each other. Then, when the usefulness stopped for the night, we didn't automatically become lovers again. We became two tired people who wanted nothing else asked of them. So we reached for something that asked nothing. And there was another uncomfortable thought. I used to reach for her for things, not practical things, her. I'd tell her something stupid that happened during the day because I wanted to hear her laugh. I'd ask what she thought about something I didn't need an answer to. I'd sit closer for no reason. I'd touch her when I walked past. None of those things vanished in one dramatic moment. That's what makes this difficult to notice. Nothing happened. Nobody betrayed anybody. Nobody packed a suitcase. Nobody announced, "From today onwards, we shall become slightly less connected." It happened in tiny pieces. One tired evening, then another, then another. Until sitting together but being somewhere else didn't feel like distance. It just felt like Tuesday. That was the bit that frightened me. Not the phones, the normality. Because if we'd been fighting every night, we would have known something needed attention. But we weren't. We loved each other. We functioned. We parented. We got things done. And I realized I'd been carrying another quiet rule without knowing it. If nothing is badly wrong, we're fine. But perhaps relationships don't only need attention when something is wrong. Maybe they need attention when something that used to exist has simply become less present. Reaching, curiosity, touch, being known as someone other than mom or dad. That evening, I looked at my wife. She looked at me. I held up my phone. "Do you think we're becoming those people?" She said, "What people?" I pointed at both of us. She looked at her phone, then mine. "Definitely." And she laughed. That was it. No intervention. No solemn technology summit. We didn't buy a basket for the hallway and declare the house a digital sanctuary. We didn't spend the evening staring lovingly into each other's eyes. We're parents. We'd have fallen asleep. But we'd noticed something. And I think there's a useful question inside that. Not, how many hours are we on our phones? Not even, are screens damaging our relationship? Something more personal. What am I reaching for the screen to give me? Relief? Quiet? Escape? company without demand, a place where nobody needs me. And then the harder one. What did I once reach from my partner for, that I now reach somewhere else for? I don't think those questions automatically solve anything. Sometimes the answer will simply be, I was exhausted and wanted to watch nonsense. Fair enough. Not every scroll contains a marital crisis. But sometimes the answer may show you something you've stopped noticing because it became ordinary. I still give my son the iPad. Sometimes Dad needs 23 minutes. I don't think loving my family requires pretending otherwise. But I'm trying to notice something now. When I need to disappear, what am I disappearing from?
And when my wife disappears too? When we're sitting 6 inches apart, both finally free from everybody else's needs, why is somewhere else sometimes easier than those 6 inches? Seeing that is one thing. Knowing how two exhausted people actually find their way back toward each other is another. Because put your phones away isn't much of an answer. What if the phone isn't the real problem? What if it's simply where the distance became visible? What if you've both become brilliant parents, competent partners, efficient adults, and somewhere underneath all that usefulness, you've quietly forgotten how to ask each other for the things that aren't useful at all? Attention, curiosity, comfort, touch, being wanted rather than needed. Maybe the real question isn't, how do we get the screens out of our relationship? Maybe it's, what would make us want to put them down and move closer again?